Welcome back to World War Live. I'm your host, Conrad Franz, here Tuesday, August 26th, 7:45, 7:52 p.m. now, Central Time, coming at you from Central Texas. And it is great to be here. It's good to have everybody in chat. We've already got some super chats coming in, so it's great to see all the World War II Patriots. My hair is a disaster right now. I've been trying to fix it for the past 20 minutes, and it won't do anything. So maybe I should have taken a shower before the show, but alas, here we are. So it's good to be back on the weekly live stream. Not necessarily the biggest week of World War III news so far, at least since we covered a lot of stuff on our recent episode. So I want to screen share here really quick, just so we get the plug-in and the shilling out of the way. Thank you. We've got our great mods, Alan Paisios in chat. We've got other great Patriots War mapping. We've got Zach in chat, Jonathan Kelly, of course. The real Patriots are here, so it's great to see everybody. Be sure to share the stream, like the stream. If you're here and you haven't liked it, you're not really on the team. So that is that. Again, it's great to be here. We're going to be discussing the latest news. Israel double tapping the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis, killing 5 Western journalists. We're going to be getting into all of this, a bunch of other things going on regarding Israel and the Holy Land, some church news, and a few other things. And of course, we're going to be playing some ethno-guesser as one does. But there we go. Sharing this screen here. Check out the latest World War Now episode this week at worldwarnow.co, worldwarnow.substack.com. That is where you can find everything. And this is where we break down the situation with Putin and Archbishop Alexei. We get into the apology, our thoughts on it, unfiltered. So be sure to check that out. We discuss that, of course, the latest escalations between the U.S. And Russia when it comes to the Ukraine war, the new plan regarding Gaza and the West Bank, our musings regarding World War III, the Zangier Corridor, how it's going to play a role in all of this, the regime change escalations towards Maduro and his government in Venezuela. So really good episode. Check that out, worldwarnow.co. It's the latest post. Besides this, of course, ongoing live stream. If you want to watch on Substack, that is an option. I'm looking at the Substack chat. I'm seeing Olafson981. He says, yo, shout out to you, Olafson. Shout out to anyone watching on Substack. It says we've got 21, 22 people watching on Substack, so that's good. We're probably on the front page there in some capacity. We want to be sure to be streaming, so we're multi-streaming to Substack, YouTube, and X, so it's great to have everyone from all platforms here at World War Live. So I was going to hop into it. The title of the stream, of course, is What is World War III? And of course, we have some news stories to discuss, but sort of break down the nomenclature, what we're really talking about here for anybody that may not have been familiar from the early days. Of course, everyone still needs to go back and read the original World War Now article from, 2022 at this point on the World War Now Substack. It's just called World War Now. People need to be sure to read and find that in that article, the original World War Now thread that I created is linked in the maybe it's from 2023. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's all 2022. The original World War Now thread from Twitter, from my Twitter account, is linked. That's what really laid the groundwork for what we're doing here. So, oh yeah, I see we got Alan also on Substack, so it's good to see you. I don't have any Substack windows open with the stream because we all remember the infamous episode 15 that will not be named, where many horrible things happened. So we're moving forward steadfastly, but these are two of maybe the most relevant quotes regarding both the Orthodox and just the realistic, realpolitik, every day-to-day aspect of World War III. And of course, we have the classic Metropolitan Neophytos. We are living in the Third World War. They simply are not saying it publicly, so that none will say that the bishop is speaking about prophecies for years, but has not told us these things. I'm telling you now, prepare. Which I think it makes it clear that what we are living in right now is the Third World War. Here's Marshall McLuhan, who, of course, was speaking in the middle of the 20th century, so not exactly the exact reference, but he says World War III is a guerrilla information war with no division between military and civilian participation, which is completely true. There's, of course, another McLuhan quote. I believe it is, the small lies are covered up, but the large lies don't need to be covered up. They are covered up by the veil of public incredulity. So I talk about this regarding cosmology, but when it comes to World War III, people aren't going to say it's World War III till the TV tells them it's World War III. And when the TV tells them it's World War III, that means they want you to think it's World War III. And when they want you to think it's World War III, that means they want to draft you. They want to prepare you for austerity, to live in the midst of, real wartime endeavors. And they want to prepare you mentally that, oh, the economy's not booming anymore. You're not going to need to, we don't want you to be a mindless consumer, which we want you to be now to, keep pumping up the fake economy. No, now we're going to want you to be a good, austere patriot and maybe even send your children to die, for Israel or for global finance in Taiwan, or, potentially for world Jewry again with NATO against Russia. So there's all sorts of options here, but got the DMs open there. But the situation here with the McLuhan quote, I need to find the other quote too, but I also posted, before we move to the Israel story, which regards World War III, Elder Joseph of Vatopedi, who reposed only in 2009, he says, world power has now been seized by the Jews, and their goal is to annihilate Christianity. Elder Joseph of Vatopedi. And you see him, of course, in blessed repose in 2009, smile on his face. And you, of course, have the alt text for here, the Jews in 1917 celebrate the overthrow of the saintly Tsar. The left banner featuring the Star of David in text in Yiddish states, down with the monarchy, down with the Romanovs, long live the Democratic Republic. Of course, this was before the assassination, which we know was also a Jewish ritual. This was when the liberal democratic Freemasonic government was in power, before the Bolsheviks fully took over. I then said, the Jewish ritual murder of the last Christian emperor was a major victory in their war attempting to eradicate Christianity and usher in the reign of their false messiah, the Antichrist. And of course, it was their killing of the, last reigning cataconic figure, the last Roman emperor, Tsar Nicholas II, Saint Tsar Nicholas II, that, led what I think Elder Joseph is led to what Elder Joseph is referring to here, with world power now being seized by these people. So thought that was a good quote here to start the unfortunate reality that we're going to be discussing here, which is here on antiwar.com. Israeli double tap strike on Gaza's Nasser hospital kills journalists and rescue workers. The Israeli military on Monday massacred 20 Palestinians, including 5 journalists, in an attack on Gaza's Nasser hospital in the southern city of Khan Yunis that involved a double tap strike on rescue workers. According to the Associated Press, the initial strike at 10:20. Before we watch these videos, let's go to the super chats. You don't need to dive into it. Some heavy stuff. Be warned, this video, it's not gory per se, but it's graphic. So if you're afraid of that kind of stuff, you may want to look away. We have $20 from Alan Wong, History Chud Endowment Award for Journalist and Excellence, awarded to Conrad. Thank you, Alan. Chud's checking in. Maybe we need to have some gnome chud, Land of Chud, Solarian gnome chud shirts and merchandise eventually when the World War Now merch store drops. So Alan, your moderation, your support, and your on the Discord and all these other things is always greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. This is this award will mean more to me than any Pulitzer ever would. And we've got $5 from Paisios, the man, the myth, the legend. By the way, Conrad, I saw your Twitter discussion today. You absolutely mogged that retarded. I'm assuming you mean cuck here. I know Paisios is a text-to-speech warrior, so there's always some typos. But yes, there was some cuck mogging on Twitter. Maybe if I feel there hasn't been enough yapped about on this stream, I will go over that silly thread. But that guy's really not worth the time as far as I'm concerned. But it was funny. It was funny to always get these simps to expose themselves. Jonathan Kelly, $9.99. I've given all my money to the Romanians. So why would you need to give the Romanians your money? I mean, I guess you give it to them, they were going to take it anyway. Just kidding. But we love our Romanians. The Romanian church here in Austin, Texas is actually close to being completed. Beautiful new temple. So we love to see that. The Romanian church is growing worldwide. So in many ways, the new Roman empire through the church is being ushered in through it's a new type of Romanity, Romanians themselves. So I always think that's a funny coincidence here. $9.99 again from Jonathan Kelly. Favorite activity this week: super chatting and driving. Well, be safe, man. Don't crash super chatting and driving. I'd feel pretty bad. I'd have to refund the super chats or something. I don't really know. So stay safe out there. But I'm sure you are. Appreciate it again, Big J. We got $5 from Zach Flayton. $5 fee for not getting banned by Paisios. So thank you, Zach. Greatly appreciated. Another $10 from Paisios. Nobody's able to mock me when it comes to super chats. I will take you all down and my wallet down with you. Haha, I love you guys so much. Can't wait to see you in Austin this weekend, Conrad. Well, it's good to see you, Paisios. I will see you this weekend. It's great to hear. It's always good to see the World War Now Patriots in real life, checking Substack chat, not seeing too much going on. Got 30 plus people over on Substack, so that is good to see. But coming out of nowhere, $50. Zach, whoa, bro. You didn't have to give me $50. You got a family to feed. Chungus load of shekels purely to Magan Paisios. Don't tempt me, boy. Well, this is the kind of war that I can encourage, but I feel bad taking my loyal World War Now Patriots money like this. But I humbly accept and I appreciate it. I really need to get entropy set up so we can get YouTube to stop taking so many of you guys as shekels. But it is a lot easier to show the chats up here right now through YouTube. I don't know if entropy would come. If I got entropy, I might have to upgrade to the next tier of StreamYard. I will investigate that this week. But real World War Now Patriot, Zach, Cyprian, flatten, keep Cyprian in your prayers, everybody. He has earned the elite platinum prayer list. Just kidding. People, I can't even make these jokes about like exploiting people for spiritual reasons and money on the show because it'll just get clipped and people will be like, look at this false preacher. But I greatly appreciate it, everybody. I assure you. It's going to a good cause, as I hope that you are aware, and I hope I will not abuse your trust, but I greatly appreciate it. Again, this is the kind of chat war that I think I can get behind. All right, we got some regular chatters. Porphyrios checking in, a.k.a. Alan Wong checking in from Elon app. We got the X, unfortunately. Again, I can't show Substack chats up on the screen, but if you're on X, you can't send a super chat as far as I'm aware, but you can participate in the live chat, so we'd love to see you there. Tap that heart. Yeah, that's what people on Substack, that's what you can do, right? You can click the heart button. That's what I'm looking at it on my phone. So if you're on Substack, click that heart button. I want to see the heart notifications going up. You know, I'd like to see it going up throughout the whole stream, if I'm being honest. But, you know, we shall see. I'm pressing it myself, which is embarrassing, but maybe more people can press it, unless the feature doesn't work and I'm asking for this in vain. No, I can see it. I can see people pressing it. So press that heart button. It makes me feel good. If you want to support and you can't send money, press the heart button on the Substack chat. So thank you all so much. We've already got 8 solid super chats in. It's been a solid evening, and I haven't even gotten into the news yet. So here we are, hopping right in here. According to the Associated Press, the initial strike at 10:10 a.m. Gaza time hit the 4th floor of the hospital, which has surgical operating rooms and doctors' residences, killing at least 2 people. And then it gets even worse. Once rescue workers and journalists arrived on the scene, a second strike hit, killing 18 more people, a double tap attack that was caught on video. And this is a known, the double tap attack is a tactic where, you strike once, make it seem like it was part of a general barrage. Emergency services and people flock to the area, and then you're able to kill a lot more people in a concentrated area with the second strike. And we're going to watch this here and again. If you don't want to see people getting killed by an airstrike, stop watching for the next minute of the stream. You've been fully warned. We're even going to go full stream on this. Full screen.
لا حصل الآن خليك يا الله راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس استهداف كبير الآن كما تشاهدون في هذه الصورة تدمير كبير قصف عنيف جدا.
So yeah, it only zooms out once it's been struck, so it's harder to see, but see there that's the hospital that they're on top of. And it zooms in, you see the reverse there. It's clear that the strike has already occurred. There's damage to the building. Rescue teams are going in, 2 already dead, trying to find whoever else might be in this semi-destroyed building under rubble on this higher floors. And then, boom, double tapped. Just a horrible thing to see. And then going on for the rest of the story, the Israeli outlet 972 magazine published an investigation last month that said the IDF has adopted using double tap strikes as a standard procedure in Gaza. Yuval Abraham, a former reporter for 972 who wrote the report, said on Monday that the video of the double tap strike on Nasser Hospital is footage of murder. According to Reuters, the initial strike killed one of its contractors, cameraman Hussam al-Masri, who was killed near a live broadcasting position operated by Reuters on the upper floor of the hospital. Antiwar.com has a photo account with Reuters and has used several photos taken by al-Masri in previous news stories. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz reported that the Israeli military said that the initial strike targeted a camera, which they claimed was a Hamas camera that was being used to observe IDF forces. They say that an Israeli tank shell struck the area, then another one was fired to make sure the camera was destroyed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later claimed that the double tap strike was a tragic mishap, but Israel's Channel 14 reported that Israeli soldiers said the attack was approved and coordinated with the senior command. The other 4 journalists killed by the Israeli attack on the hospital are Miriam Abu Daga, who freelanced for the Associated Press and other outlets, Mohammed Salama, who worked for Middle East Eye and Al Jazeera, Moaz Abu Taha, a freelance journalist who worked with several news outlets, and Ahmed Abu Aziz, another freelancer who also contributed to Middle East Eye. Daga recently co-authored a report for the Associated Press that highlighted the plight of malnourished children in Gaza who were being starved by the Israeli blockade. Middle East Eye said that its head of video production recently spoke with Salama about Israel's starvation policy and that he expressed fear of being targeted by the IDF in the wake of the assassination of Al Jazeera reporter Anas al-Sharif. The Israeli military has killed a huge number of journalists throughout its genocidal war on the Gaza Strip. According to the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate, the attack on the Nasser hospital brought the total number of journalists killed by the Israeli attacks to more than 244. And I don't know if this article is going to have the exact number, but I think the rate of it's so the civilian to it's like an 83% or like 83 to 1 like civilian to militant ratio of the killed in Gaza, and then the amount of journalists killed. All of these already outpace like most wars that we even know of in general. So this genocide that we're forced to call a war because the media is owned by Jews is starting to get very tiresome to have to refer to things this way. And seeing things like this, like it, if there weren't, just think about it this way. Imagine what they would be doing if there weren't smartphones. Like imagine what they would be doing and getting away with if there weren't camera phones, and if we didn't have the globalized media structure that we have right now, allowing journalists to go into these countries. I mean, the Egyptian border, these few places that people can actually get in, that these journalists can access. I mean, imagine this is what they're doing with the cameras on them. Cameras on them, they know the world's watching, and they just boom, just kill 5 Western journalists plus a dozen others live on camera with an airstrike. They rape prisoners on camera, knowing the footage will probably be released. They don't really care. I mean, they shoot children in the back of the head while Americans are watching. They starve people openly. They bomb flotillas trying to bring food aid into the Strip. I mean, this is what they're doing when they know people are going to watch because they control the media and this, that, or the other. Imagine how bad it was before. You know, we know the propaganda that they made up about World War II. Imagine what really went on, right? And imagine what would be happening right now if they knew they could get away with it. I mean, imagine what is going on. I mean, there's probably parts of Gaza, of course, where no video is ever going to get out. Who knows what technology they're deploying to fry electronic devices or do all sorts of crazy stuff in the Strip. I mean, in Gaza City, I don't know how many journalists are operating there at all, if any. It's one of the most dangerous parts of the world right now. But just imagine what they would be getting away with if they, I mean, where they think they can, imagine what they're trying to do. It's horrible. But moving on here, let's get back to that article. Rebrowsing. Oh, we have another super chat. That's what I was looking for. $10 more from Paisios. Okay, Zach won the battle, but not the war. I will win out eventually, lol. JK, good job, Zachy boy. Shout out to all the true World War II patriots, always keeping the lights on in the bunker. Thank you, Paisios. Wrenches are out in force this evening. No riffraff in the live chat. I was almost hoping that guy would be in the Twitter chat. Our favorite Lord of the Rings paintbrush head LARPer on Twitter would be in here to talk some crap, but you know, not really worth the time. So it's probably for the best, but sorry, I've got a bunch of different articles pulled up here. I'm trying to see what I'm going to pull up next. Maybe we can do All right, we'll just skip to this because my other anti-war articles tabs are messed up. But this story's been ongoing for a minute. Here we go. This has been ongoing in Turkey, or Turkey, as they would like it to be called, in Trebizond, where our good friend David hails from, so relevant here. But this has been ongoing for a while now. Turkish authorities once again denied permission for Orthodox Christians to celebrate the Feast of the Dormition of the Theotokos at the historic Panagia Sumela Monastery in Trabzon on August 15th, allowing services only on the leave-taking of the feast 9 days later. Metropolitan Andreas of Sarante Ecclesias celebrated the hierarchical divine liturgy on Saturday, August 23rd. The service drew a limited number of pilgrims from Greece and other countries to the ancient monastery site in Pontus, reported Vima Orthodoxias. This marks the second year in a row that Turkish authorities have refused the permission for liturgical celebrations on the actual feast day of August 15th, granting approval only for the secondary celebrations on August 23rd. The restrictions have significantly reduced attendance, what has traditionally been a major religious gathering. Since 2010, Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople has maintained a tradition of celebrating the Dormition feast at Panagia Sumela, though permission from Turkish authorities has remained uncertain each year. The monastery, founded in the 4th century, holds particular significance for Pontic Greeks and Orthodox Christians worldwide. The Greek Foreign Ministry noted that these liturgical celebrations carry diplomatic significance regarding religious freedom and the protection of cultural heritage sites. The Federation of Pontic Associations of Greece issued a statement reaffirming that Panagia Sumela will forever remain the soul of Pontus, regardless of restrictions or prohibitions. The limitation on the celebrations come amid restrictions from nationalist groups within Turkey. Observers have characterized the authorities' decision to permit only the leave-taking service as an attempt to balance various domestic and international considerations. Despite the reduced attendance and restricted timing, pilgrims who did attend were visibly moved by the opportunity to worship at the historic site. And of course, the line from the Turkish ministry is that they has something to do with how this is a political act and coming to worship and celebrate the divine liturgy, despite being on a major feast day of the Theotokos, it's all about wanting to revive the Pontic Republic or something like this, or the Kingdom of Pontus, or some separatist thing from Turkey, some Greek nationalist thing that wants to separate from Turkey, and they I don't know, but they as usual, the second year, I remember when they did this last year, and they're doing it again this year, so not the best situation to be happening right now. And of course, this is in the region of Turkey that is far into the Black Sea. I mean, historically very Greek and Orthodox. This historic monastery is one of the most famous. I mean, this is that cliffside monastery. I'm sure you guys have all been aware of it in the past. I've seen pictures of it. It's beautiful. But, this is the type of place that, Russian ships would be docked. I mean, when you talk about how the Russians could descend upon the Turks, this is where things could happen. Excuse me. This show brought to you by Martinelli's Organic Cider. Just kidding. They didn't give me any money for that, so maybe they would fund me. But I'm thinking, we have a decent amount of time here. Maybe we do go to the I don't know. I really don't want to devolve to discussing this kind of low-tier Twitter drama on the stream. I don't know if we really need to be talking about all that, but I haven't browsed all of these. I guess we can go to the front page of the UOJ, important website everybody should be regularly browsing. The Union of Orthodox Journalists, very important website. We discussed a lot of these stories on the latest episode of World War Now. Of course, the OCU creating their schismatic church structure, extending it to the Czech Republic, violating even the Tomos Sefli they got from Patriarch Bartholomew. I didn't even see this. Patristic Faith announces annual conference in November. The Patristic Faith Conference themed Athens and Jerusalem, Orthodox Art, Philosophy, and Life will take place on November 21st to 22nd, 2025 at St. Nicholas Orthodox Church in Palm Coast, Florida. The two-day event invites attendees to delve into the intricate relationship between philosophy and Orthodox Christian faith, directing questions about reason, revelation, and the transformative power of encountering the living God. The conference features a distinguished lineup of speakers, including Metropolitan Jonah Paffhausen, former primate of the Orthodox Church in America and abbot of St. Demetrius Orthodox Monastery, Father Vladimir Kaidanov, rector of St. Nicholas Orthodox Church and professor of art history, who will present on St. Andrzej Rublev's Holy Trinity icon, Deacon Ananias Sorum, PhD, CEO of Patristic Faith and philosophy professor, Dr. David Patrick Harry, a religious studies scholar focusing on New Age spirituality, Jay Dyer, an author and cultural analyst known for his work on that. We all know who Jay Dyer is. General admission, $55 for both days. That's a great deal. I'll tell you that much. Good deal. And I was not paid to talk about this. I'd seen Jay post about this. I didn't realize that was what it was called, the Athens in Jerusalem. So, obviously I've always been grateful to Deacon Ananias and Jay. And of course, big DPH. And we've had DPH, we've had Jay on the show. Maybe we need to have Father Deacon. We get Metropolitan Jonah. Maybe we'll have everybody here on the show at some point. So fantastic to see more and more of these conferences coming about. But I do believe, we're 30 minutes in. It's a little bit early, but I think it's time to do what everybody knows we're here for. Although we have some super chats, so let's address these super chats. $5 from Paisios. Talk about the Twitter drama and talk about Ukraine using a holy icon to kill Russians. I am drama pilled and I need my drama. Lol. We did see there was that. Was that on the UOC page, on the UOJ page here about the icon? I didn't see that. Oh yes, here we go. It's good. It's good. Good call, Paisios. I'm very resonant to talk about the E drama because is the cider kosher? No, the cider is not kosher. All the other ciders were, but the cider is not kosher. Which actually no, it still is kosher. It just isn't called kosher. Everything is kosher. Effectively, it's bad. Not good. Unfortunately, I checked and it's still kosher. So you got me, Josephine. You got me. But here we have another. If you didn't think the Ukrainians could sink any lower from desecrating the relics from the Kiev caves and Pechersk Lavras, here we have explosive device hidden in religious icon neutralized in Sevastopol. The FSB foils alleged Ukrainian-linked terror plot in Crimea. Russia's Federal Security Service announced on August 25th that it had prevented a terrorist attack in Crimea, allegedly orchestrated by Ukraine's SBU. According to reporting from RIA Novosti, a 50-year-old woman from Volgograd province was detained after unknowingly transporting an Orthodox icon rigged with an improvised explosive device to an FSB office in Sevastopol. Despicable. According to investigators, the woman had been deceived through an elaborate scheme beginning in May when SBU operatives posing as Russian officials convinced her to take out loans totaling more than 3 million rubles. She later followed instructions to deliver the icon unaware it contained a 1 kilogram explosive device set to detonate via coded signal. The FSB reported that the plan would have killed both its personnel and the woman herself, who had been ordered to transmit the activation code. She was arrested before the device could be triggered. A court in Simferopol has ordered her held in custody for 2 months. The Crimean Metropolia condemned the use of a sacred object in the plot, calling it both a crime and a grave sacrilege. In a statement, church leaders urged categorical public rejection of such acts, stressing the need to protect religious symbols as part of humanity's cultural and spiritual heritage. Well, both sides in this war, can you be accused of striking churches? I think the Ukrainians, obviously what they're supporting through the schism, is obviously completely indefensible. I think the Russians perhaps could do a slightly better job. I think they do a better job than the Ukrainians of not hitting churches, but we do know what happened to the Odessa Cathedral. However, I'm not convinced that was the Russians. I think it was probably an air defense situation gone wrong. However, I'm not going to absolve the Russians of everything they've done in potentially striking religious sites. Mistakes were made, and I'm sure there are nonsensical idiots in the Russian church, in the Russian army, that might be willing to do certain things as well. But speaking of this, here we have Russian projectile strikes Kherson's St. Catherine Cathedral. Russian projectile hit the grounds of St. Catherine Cathedral, Kherson, on the afternoon of August 21st, according to the Ukrainian Orthodox Church's Information and Education Department. The strike damaged the cathedral's chancel, shattered windows, and left visible marks on the facade. Several headstones in the church grounds were also affected, diocesan officials reported. Previously, UOJ reported that Archimandrite Peter, a monk that of the Quick to Hear monastery in the village of Babai, Kharkov diocese, was killed by Russian drone strikes. So, unfortunately, the war, being in the war zone, is not good for the church, no matter what side you're on. And it doesn't matter who hits your church, you're not going to like that you got struck. So, unfortunately, not all sides can be absolved here. However, we can hope as more forces get farther and farther behind the Russian front line, as the Ukrainians are not going to be, they're going to be focused on deflecting the advance. Hopefully, these things can start to happen less frequently. But that's why we have to pray for the end of wars and things like them. But yes, we've got seeing any more super chats, feel free to drop them. Huge night of super chats again. I want to thank Zach for the 50, Alan for the 20, another 888. Nothing ever happens remittance payment. Nothing ever happens unless you live in Ukraine and your house is getting struck by a drone, right? So don't speak too soon. Do not boast lest you too find yourself within a happening zone, right? I think that's, everyone wants to be in a happening zone until they're in the happening zone. So enjoy your nothing ever happens time, because it's only going to get worse. Yeah, everyone be sure to wish Paisios the best of luck. Keep him in your prayers as he goes to spend some time in a monastery, St. John of San Francisco. So be sure to keep him in your prayers as he, lives the monastic life for a period of time, seeing how things go. And I think he will, hope if that is his calling, I hope that goes well for you, my brother. And I think that, that's a beautiful place, Northern California. Of course, I've been wanting to visit St. Herman's Monastery since before I even became Orthodox. As Father Seraphim Rose is, if I were to credit one, saint with bringing me to the church, it would be him. So we're gonna have to do that. Of course, if I'm up there, I'm gonna also go to St. John of San Francisco, of course, as it is right nearby. But it's ethno-guesser time. Time to start guessing some ethnicities. Gonna apple juice up. I guess cider up, as one does. Let's get some likes going in Substack chat. We got FJ88, shout out Patristic Faith. Father Deacon Ananias is a wonderful human being. Orthodixie, how can we give money other than YouTube? Forgive me if I should know this. Well, unfortunately, right now, the only way to give money to the stream is via the super chats. But hopefully, in the very near future, I can get entropy set up so people can give on entropy, and I can keep more of the shekels that you guys give me. Because unfortunately, YouTube takes 30%, which is not great. But thank you to everyone for listening on Substack. We've got like 42 people on Substack, so that's great to see. A lot of solid audience tonight. Appreciate everybody for donating. Appreciate everyone for hanging out. We're about 40 minutes in the stream here. Let's hop in to Ethno Guesser. Oh boy. Classic tough call, I mean, the dude definitely looks more Turkic, whereas the woman, frankly, could be from more around here, but I'm thinking maybe over here, maybe here, but I mean, someone's gonna be like, no, it's obviously here, it's over here, but I'm gonna go here. Boom. Anatolid, exactly what I thought it was. At some point, I'm gonna have to start calling the names. Like, I'm gonna have to start guessing the actual name and see if I get it right on the stream. So maybe in a few months that'll be the level that I'm at. But we're starting off, perfect game, baby. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, blue eyes, a little bit darker than the Swedes. Is this maybe here? Ooh, 4014. I feel like that's kind of BS if I'm being honest, but close enough. Not a perfect score anymore, but very close. North Atlantid, Western European type that combines features of Nordic and Mediterranean in a unique way. It resembles British Iron Age Celts, the principal element in Ireland and parts of Britain, especially Western Scotland and Wales, common in northwestern France. This is definitely a powerful phenotype. These are, North Atlantid. This is, I am probably in this group in some capacity. Let's review. Yeah, I don't have blue eyes. I've got, hazel, lighter hazel green eyes, but yes, the powerful phenotypes indeed. I feel like this should have been a 5,000 if I'm being honest, but I guess I was just a little bit too far east. But look how far this stretches into freaking Slovakia. Straight Slavs are like this. So I feel like that's should have been a 5K, but we're on track. Solid score. Oh boy. See, I'm good on true whites, on true Aryans. I can do this, but see, I want to just say, look, if I was just playing this normally without having played this and experienced everything, I would just guess West Africa. But this time, like, it could be just anything. It could be South Africa, West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa. If anyone in chat has a strong opinion on this, it's not as simple this time. I keep missing on Africa. It's been screwing me over lately. I'm going south. Sandawe. East African type of the Tanzanian savanna. See, it's not a huge distribution. Not a huge distribution for the Sandawe. So you got to kind of get these. At the end of the day, they all kind of look the same. I can tell the bulb heads and the Ethiopians apart from the Bantus and the Khoisan maybe, but all these types of people, they all kind of look the same. Oh boy. Thank you. Come again. Is this Pakistan or India or Bangladesh? Yeah, this is some 7-Eleven right here. I think just right there. Boom. Oh, come on. That far south, Malabarese, the invaded influence type of southwestern India, found in its most typical form in Kerala. Should have gone farther south, I guess, even on these islands down here. What are these? More Maldivian islands? I guess this is Maldives, and this is these are whatever. I forget. I always get these confused. Yeah, Maldives is down here, the tiniest, most at sea level islands in the world. But the Malabarese, I guess 22, 25 could have been worse. Oh boy, these are some plains people right here. This is some South Dakota, Arizona type beat. Yeah, Serge. I could imagine. Sir Johnny. Yeah, when you see Indian, look, you may not get it, but if you see Indians, type Sir Johnny. Just do it. Trust me. Indian. Maybe we'll come back around for this round, but we're going here. Boom. Bullseye. Literally on the zone. The Pueblid. Native American type named after the Pueblo communities in southwestern North Native America. Yeah, got that one clocked. Decent score so far. Decent score so far. Ooh. Merchant type looking character. We've got this energy going on here. You know what I mean? Are these like full on Armenians, like Azeris? Like I'm thinking almost maybe here. What's everyone thinking? I mean, I could go Iraqi Kurdistan, I could go Armenia, I could go Azerbaijan, I could go somewhere in Turkey, I could go somewhere in North Africa if that's the vibe. Is this is this some Persian thing I'm not red pilled on? What are we thinking here? Phenotype analysts, check in. Yeah, I'm thinking Armenia. Maybe something like this could be the play. Yeah, maybe the Armenian-Iranian border. Let's see. Yep, Assyroids. Semitic type that inhabits Armenoid with Arabid features. Yes, historically important to the ancient Hittite kingdom. We did it, Reddit. That's exactly what I was thinking. World War Now Patriots. Great job. Mission successful. We're doing well. We're tapped in. Boom. Oh, this looks like some Sir Johnny shit to me. I don't know. Maybe a little too far east. I don't know. Is this what we're talking about? Are these maybe like, are this like Rohingya? What are we talking about here? Maybe we talking about, I don't know. Could these maybe be like, I don't know, maybe some Malaysians, maybe? What are we like? Are these full Sir Johnnies or are these, Burmese people? Or are these Malays? Are these more maybe some Pakistani going on here? What are we thinking here? Alan Wong, I'm spilling some curry. Or no, this is hard. I agree. This is a tough one. The woman's really throwing me off because if the guy wasn't hitting me with the real Sir Johnny stare right there, I think this woman was like an islander or something. Like she doesn't look as Indian. Yeah, once again, I think it's some like Indian minority, like some kind of minority group within India, probably. Maybe like here. Should have just gone India. Central bracket, Indo-Bracket variety, the morphological and geographical position. Just straight Indians. That's what I should have guessed for the last Sir Johnny's. But we're gonna have to get some Sir Johnny in chat. Do I need to play? Do I play Sir Johnny on stream? Do we listen? Sir John, look, just go on SoundCloud and look up Sir Johnny, and you guys can listen to songs like Ramaswamy, Bussy Hurt, and other such gems. So that's the shout out, Sir Johnny on SoundCloud. Check it out. You heard it here first. Sir Johnny on some real riggedy ding da type shit. Well, let's finish this round out. We're back on the feather people. I don't know. These guys are looking maybe like more down here. Oh. I don't think I've ever been like raped that hard on a round where I just totally thought I'd be at least getting like a 3K and I get a big fat 0. I thought I was going to make it through the round without any freaking zeros. Sipping Johnny Walker with Sir Johnny, baby. Let's go. I have no idea who this is in chat that knows the Sir Johnny lore, but thanks for joining us this evening, everybody. Unfortunately, my good game has ended. The frick is Northern... Is this some freaking Sumi shit? Yeah, this is like Northern Lapid variety. Yeah, this is... I was literally just talking about Nords and Scandinavians race mixing with Laplanders recently, so I guess it's fitting that this takes me out. I should have internalized that conversation more. Yeah, associated with Eastern Sami, formerly Laps, e.g. Skolt and Inari speakers, extends from Finnmark in Norway across northern Finland to the Kola Peninsula. Rare today, but still extended to St. Petersburg around 1700. Blends in Nenets with Sybrid, and the Volga Kama region, the Volga physical. Yeah. Got me good. Bro, if I just go fast, then the round doesn't help me take up time on the stream. I'm trying to stream for, an hour and a half every evening. And if I just go through, then I've got to play challenge mode as well. And then that just never ends. It's the daily game. I mean, if that's how it is, maybe I've got to do it. But look, I did this one really fast. I didn't even ask for anybody. I just thought these were freaking Plains Indians, and look where that got me. Maybe someone in this chat would have known about North Lapids. If my friend I was talking to earlier in the day had been watching, he would have been able to get this. But alas, they looked too much like freaking American feather Indians. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh man. The woman gives it away. If it was just the guy, I'd think, but this is some Peru shit. The question is, are we going Peru, Ecuador, or Peru, Bolivia? What are we thinking, chat? Ecuador, Peru, or Peru, Bolivia? Let's see what chat has to say. That's the over-under. Because I'm not hedging. I'm not hedging in the middle of Peru. Unless it is actually middle. Unless people think it's middle of Peru, then let me know. But I await your advice. I got FJ88 in the class saying Scandinavian. Those are not Scandinavians, brother. Those are North Lapids. Those are North Lapids. Those are Laplanders. Look up the Sumi people. Look up Lapin people. They're, Siberian type, Asiatic looking, like they look like that. The ones here in America look like that because they crossed over in the ice on the land bridge back when that was more of a thing. Those are real people. So look that up. Unfortunately, it's not just Scans and Aryans up there, but I think I'm going Bolivia, Peru. Let's do it. Central, these are just Mayans. Centralid subtype with the position between Pueblid and Isthmid. Darn. Guatemala, those are just Guatemalans. Straight up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, a little bit lower average, but I still only got a 487. Not great. Oh. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at here? Oh my gosh. I mean, you're tempted with Europe, obviously, because of the white skin and the light eyes and the lighter hair, but what if, are these like Pashtun? Are these like some kind of, or not Pashtun, are these those, whatever that group is in Afghanistan? Is this that group that, that small group of people that like Robert Sepper talks about? Zach says Georgians. Look, he gave $50 earlier in the stream, so that's a tough argument to disagree with. Is $50 because they look like northern people. But look at the noses. For example, I have a Nordic nose. If anything, it's even a little more hooked than the average Nord. But then you compare this, like my nose is not, like when I look at the stream, my nose is not going like look at this guy's nose is doing. And the woman's nose, it's bending down in the front. It's like, you know, whatever his name, it's like a villager, an NPC villager in whatever. Yeah, I don't think we're looking at Northern Europeans. I don't think that's what's happening here, because I know what that looks like in this game. And people could go with Georgians, but I'm almost tempted to go with Afghanistan. I don't think he looks like a Georgian, though. Look, if I go Afghanistan and it's Europe, you guys can't clown me, because I've already recognized that they look European, but they don't look like they don't look like the Nords and the Aryan Europeans in the rest of the game. Look. Okay, if they're like Romanian gypsies. Yeah, okay, you have a point, Paisios. These could be those could be gypsies. But I like, you know how legendary the guess will be if it's like some obscure Afghan tribe, and it actually is that. Like, you know how good of a guess it would be. But now you're really throwing me off with this Romania guess. But you know, if it's Romania, if I guess Romania and it's that Afghan shit, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm gonna crash out at chat. But we're gonna go for it. Gotta just trust the instinct, man. I gotta just trust myself. What did I say, dude? What did I say? Indo-Nordic. Y'all claim to be like a Gartha Hyperborea pilled on this Nicholas Rarick. Y'all don't know anything. Y'all don't know nothing about no tunnels to the hollow earth. Y'all don't know nothing about Aryans and UFOs through these secret caves in the hollow earth. And these Aryans and these blue-eyed features. I don't know nothing, dude. Nothing, man. Type of the northwestern Himalaya and the Hindu Kush, connected to Indid, but altered by old unique elements, possibly Proto-Nordic, that might stem from ancient Aryans. Common in Pathan, the Rastani. Dude, you know how legendary the 5K and the FK, if I had actually just selected what I thought was happening here? Zach and Paisios, thankfully you all donated enough money to where I am not mad, thankfully, but I knew it. I knew it. My ethnography, my years of demographic and phenotypic studies had trained me for this moment. And instead, I trusted the crowd, the wisdom of the crowd, the democracy, instead of the will of Nietzschean Aryan man myself. What score did I get? 2,651 average. Not great. Top 41%. So top of the pack, but man, that would have been such a legendary freaking moment. Would have been such a legendary clippable moment, but instead I had to go poop mode. Instead I had to go poop on him like that. 56 minutes in, not seeing any more super chats. If anyone has any questions they want me to answer here on stream before we end this out, be sure to send in a super chat. Big thanks to Paisio, Zach, Josephine, Alan, Jonathan for sending in this evening super chats. Greatly appreciated. This evening is entertainment brought to you by EthnoGuesser. hbd.gg as the URL is if you want to play along. Some good stuff. Yeah, legendary guest. We'll just count that as a victory for you, Conrad. Look, we got the clip. The context exists. So, I knew what I was doing. I knew what was going on there. But with all of that, let's check the timeline. Let's see if anything interesting is going on. Thankfully, I was able to fill the time without resorting to talking about what took up most of my day, which was clowning on a wife guy simp cuck. Word of advice: don't be a wife guy simp cuck. You heard it here first. But yeah, unfortunately, look, and I love Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan of the books, of the movies, of the man J.R.R. Tolkien himself. But unfortunately, it is an unfortunately accurate heuristic that if you are a Lord of the Rings LARPer on the internet and go by something like Gandalf or have a bunch of Balrog type crap in your bio, you're probably going to be like a terminal simp wife guy loser who is going to like act cool and manly and traditional, but at the end of the day be a subversive who's going to take the interpretation of the gospel that fits most with modern norms while pretending you're trad. That's sort of where I feel Lord of the Rings guys come from. So if you're a Lord of the Rings person online, I'm not saying you have to change, but make sure you're repping well and not embarrassing everyone else, especially if you're going to have an Orthodox cross in your name. That's all I'm going to say. But $8 more from Zach. Shout out to Jonathan Kelly. World Wars Live is always the best date night content. It's true. People are watching World War now with their wives and GFs. Things are happening. Conrad punches it. Lord of the Rings greater than anime. I mean, I did see a Lord of the Rings anime in theaters a few months ago. It could have been better. Mostly because the animation was low tier. But and the story was kind of feminist, but look, I'm a big Lord of the Ring. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fantasy fan, but if I had to be really honest, I mean, I probably prefer Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Neon Genesis Evangelion to I would put those on the same level as Lord of the Rings as far as entertainment that I find enjoyable and interesting. There's a lot of Studio Ghibli movies I think that are just as good as Lord of the Rings as well. I mean, Porco Rosso, Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, Kiki's Delivery Service may be the best one of all of them. I mean, these are some of the best movies in the modern era, in my opinion. We have Tapped Line, hope to be Orthodox one day. Well, be sure to visit your local Orthodox church. If you don't have an Orthodox church near you, be sure to hop on the Discord server. That's a good thing I should plug. Everyone get on the Discord server if you haven't already. It's good. A lot of great things going on there. A lot of fantastic discussions, a lot of good memes, a lot of, we got voice chat going in there sometimes as well. So hop in the Discord. We're at about 300 people in there. Got some great mods, got some great things going on. So don't hesitate to join. I believe the link is down in the description below. If you're listening here on YouTube, whoa, we got $50 from Jonathan Kelly. Was saving this for the wife and kids, but no. Oh, here I am taking food out of the mouths of babes for my racist live stream. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Please, if people have families and And if you haven't tithed to your church, if you haven't, provided for your family, and if you haven't, done all these sorts of things, don't give to me. But if you have the amount of money to give to me while you're still doing all of those things, then I appreciate it. Truly, truly. But big evening, multiple $50 super chats, big evening of super chats. So greatly, greatly appreciate it. I feel obligated to keep streaming for a little bit now. I don't want to just hop off here. I'm trying to, maybe let's go to the live UA map. Let's see if I have anything to talk about. I've got all sorts of things to talk about. But the problem is, if I go, look, the go off juice gets sipped too hard. Next thing you know, people send clips to my priest. People send clips to this, that, or the other. And next thing you know, I'm getting in trouble for saying, look, we all know, you know me in person. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm about. Live UA map is just so behind with the Russian advances. So anytime the Ukrainians do anything, it just immediately is like, Ukraine win here, and tells you exactly what happened, even if it's dubiously confirmed. Russians take 100 square kilometers. It's been a week, and they sometimes don't even update it. So generally accurate, but yeah, this isn't accurate anymore. This isn't accurate anymore for sure. I don't think this is accurate at all either. So live UA map, as the Russian offensive continues, becoming less and less accurate, unfortunately. So Ortho Christian here. Yeah, we discussed the bomb on the UOJ article. Not a whole lot more to discuss here, but again, Jonathan Kelly, real American, real World War Now Athenite patriot. Thank you very much, brother. I haven't seen some of you guys giving a lot of money on the streams. I'm not seeing y'all ask questions in the weekly Q&As. Dimitri and I, oh, crud. That reminds me. Dimitri and I just recorded this week's Q&A, so do not ask any more questions in the Q&A thread on Substack. I need to actually, I'm literally going to do that right now. Sorry. The musical doodle. Oh, we got 56 people on Substack. Although I think Substack also does the thing like X, where if someone joins and leaves, then they still it still shows that they're in the stream. But regardless, solid viewership on Substack. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Not sure what's going on in there. Now we turn off replies. Boom. The thread is locked. We had a lot of great questions this week in the Q&A thread, so look forward to that upcoming Ether Hour episode discussing the questions you guys asked. Sorry, someone's falling off the desk there. And yeah, a lot of great questions. So get behind that paywall if you want to ask a question for future Q&A threads. Paisios, of course, here in chat asked some of the best questions. So be sure to check those out. I think it's going to be in the free section. So you'll get access not just to the full Q&A episodes, all of the full Ether Hour episodes, as well as your access to the threads to ask us questions in the future. So all of this at worldwarnow.co. I guess I should head back over there. You can see worldwarnow.co. Dimitri has a recent article as well, Shekinah's Chariot, translation and editing of Chapter 8 of Nicholas Kozlov's ritual victimology book. This is some deep counter-Semitic lore, as it were, as he is talking all about some of the some Jewish murder rituals and how they handle warfare, and many some might say schizo and deep, but very good stuff that you also get full access to if you get behind the paywall here at worldwarnow.co. Actually, I should even have, yes. You can see here the actual benefits for everybody. Of course, monthly $7, you get access to all exclusive Ether Hour podcast episodes in full every week. You get access to monthly subscriber-only Q&A threads. You also get access to the full Ether Hour archive and exclusive new articles, documentaries, and the subscriber-only Discord channels. And you get those exact same benefits if you subscribe to the $75 per year annual plan, but it's 11% cheaper than subscribing monthly, so you save a lot of money. It's the equivalent of paying $6.25 per month. To get the Imperial Patriot roll, you get all of that as well, and you can give it for at least $200. And if you would decide to pay more, you can. And if you pay for that right now, which I know a few people are, don't worry. Eventually, you will get something. And I can assure you, at the very least, that when the World War Now merch store drops, there will be some free merch involved for those in the Imperial Patriot Plan that's going to be coming soon. So stand by for that. Big updates there. So again, worldwarnow.co. Appreciate it. Not seeing any more super chats. So we are coming here to the end of the episode, a solid World War Live, episode 16, I believe, 17, episode 17 here. What is World War III, as I called it? Some of these I don't really know what to call them because we're just hanging out, yapping, doing what we do, going over Twitter drama, playing ethno-guessers. So sometimes I even change the names later because it is what it is. But check us out. Like the stream if you're watching on YouTube especially. Please, please, please. It's really helpful. If you're watching on Substack, be sure to like it as well. The replay is going to get re-uploaded, so like it when it comes out there too. Be sure to follow us on X at @WorldWarNow_. Be sure to follow me on X at GnomeRad. GNOMERAD. That's how you spell it. So be sure to check me out. Got a decent amount of followers these days, so I appreciate it. Everybody want to get up to 20, 30K though here soon. So keep following. If you're not on X, make an account and follow me, even if you have no intention of using it in the future. If you're not on the Substack app already, I encourage everybody to do that. It makes it easier to. It's the way that you can talk in the Substack Q&A threads. It helps you put comments on our episodes. It's really grateful. So if you're not already on the Substack app, please get on there, make an account. You can watch my show. You can watch all of Anthony of Westgate's content. Father Peter Hears is on Substack. A lot of other great creators, some even exclusively, are on Substack. It's a lot of people's home base. Probably the most free speech platform currently on the internet, even more so than X, if you can believe that. So get on Substack. worldwarnow.co, of course, is the home base. With all of that being said, it's time to sign you all off to some beautiful, beautiful music. Before I do that, we'll go up here. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Alan Wong, he says, thank you for a fun show. Blessed, finishing up the fast of those in the old calendar. I'm a new calendar bro myself, so I've been feasting, but Godspeed to all of you. Keep fasting. Godspeed during the feast. And thank you all so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. God bless.